Yeah, it's a bit distracting, of course. So I'm not sure what your question was.
Worry about how the Dolphins collapse.
No, I don't, except that I do. But much different than last year because last year the collapse was based entirely on the fact that he was out, right? And you had backup quarterbacks playing, and they still made the playoffs. They backed into it, and obviously played pretty well in a loss against the Bills. But it's so different because Tua didn't play, right? This year's collapse is worse because this year's collapse is already going to cost them the number 1 seed because Baltimore's got that right now, the inside track on that. It very well could cost them the division as well. And when you consider the fact that I know Tyreek's got an ankle situation, but he did come back on the field. Matter of fact, he sprinted off the field, which was very strange to see. But they're fine. Like, they got their health, and namely Tua, who's been healthy the entire year. And I think when you look at it, the Bills, in my opinion, are going to run the table. I've been very consistent about that. And the Dolphins are now in a bad spot where their schedule almost guarantees another loss or 2 prior to playing the Bills in Week 18. I'll give you a win against the Jets, although I think it's going to be a tougher game than what a lot of people think as a 10-point favorite or 9.5-point favorite. Dallas is a beast. Baltimore's the best team in the AFC. And then, of course, you get the Bills, who put a 48 spot on you when they played you 2 months ago. The Dolphins are in trouble.
Yeah, I think when he mentions they're not the same team, it's largely because what the culture looks like right now. He talked about guys staying in the locker room, guys wanting to be around each other, groups really doing extra time in the film room. But overall, if you talk about this offense solely, is they're stagnant, right? Without Tyreek Hill in that lineup, they're not a good offense. And there's a recipe how to beat Tua. Keep him in the pocket, because he's not going to run. He's not a scrambler. He's terrified of running. So a lot of what you see right now is him just patting the ball, trying to get the ball out, especially if you take away his first out.
Last year's collapse was acceptable because you had a problem at quarterback, right? So you can write it off as, what do you want us to do? We got a second and third string quarterback playing football, right? This year, you have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. That's real. It's tangible. It's on the table. And yet the schedule sets up in a brutal way for a team that just got embarrassed by the Titans. Nothing, Greg?
I mean, for me, when I look at this team, I thought you pointed at Jacoby. You definitely pointed at Jacoby. But for me, when I look at this team, I am worried about a collapse because you look at the remaining schedule, the Jets. Yeah. You say you chalk it up. They can't look past the Jets because they're a physical team. Everyone on this schedule, when you look at their opponent, we see them as tougher than the Dolphins. Like, the Dolphins are more of a finesse-filling team. And for me, at this stage in the season, you got to have some punch. You got to have some bite. And we watched them against the Titans, a team that the only thing they have going for them is the fact that they're going to grind it out. They're going to make you sweat. They're going to be more physical.
And don't forget
they weren't able to do
the only win that the Dolphins have right now against a winning team is Week 3 against the Denver Broncos, and that's when the Broncos were a bad football team. They've obviously changed the narrative. They're not actually right on the cusp of the playoffs, but they don't have a single win outside of that against a team that's playing postseason football.
Is there a chance they could actually make a run and win the division?
No. That would be a total collapse by the Kansas City Chiefs, but I guess it's on the table because Kansas City hasn't played great and Denver beat them once already. But no. You know, the Denver Broncos, I give them credit for turning the season around. And Sean Payton, who sounds every bit of as much of a guy that hasn't gotten but 2 hours of sleep a night for the last 3 months. He sounds like old man Sean Payton. I was going to say, I remember back in my day when I actually had a good quarterback in Drew Brees. I got plenty of sleep. Yeah. I knew every cheerleader on a first-name basis.
Where's Elway?
That's what he sounds like. Look, the fact that they are a game out and Kansas City's trying to figure out why it's not coming easy to them like it always has makes for good theater. But, show me the guy outside of Denver, metropolis area that thinks the Denver Broncos are going to win the AFC West. I don't know. I don't see anybody.
But Craig, they
wait a minute. Tim Hardaway. Timmy.
Oh, Timmy.
No, even Tim Hardaway says the Broncos aren't going to win the West.
They beat the Chiefs early this year. Why wouldn't they feel confident? Why wouldn't they feel like they have a shot?
Because they're the Broncos.
But this is a different ball club. You talk about they got 16 takeaways. Their offense is playing. They finally have a rapport. Russell finally has a rapport with Jerry Jeudy. Like, they're rolling. The Chiefs lost a bad game to the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, they did.
Bottom line.
I agree.
So there's a reason why the Broncos feel like, don't count us out right now.
Yeah, for me, you guys know how I feel about the Broncos.
Let's ride.
Yeah, let's ride. Can we please pull up their schedule? Because they're
going to lose to the Lions. They're going to lose to the Lions on Saturday
I hear you. I hear you.
No, they're not. Lions
But the
suck.
Lions, we don't know who they are.
The Lions just lost to the Bears.
The Lions, we do not know and believe in them right now at this
I see
point.
all dubs.
You got the Patriots, obviously the Chargers. I feel like that's a win because they don't have Herbert. I'm not saying that the Chiefs are going to lose.
Talk about the Broncos,
but they have.
Kobe.
I feel like the Chiefs will have a more challenging game, specifically against Belichick and these New England Patriots.
Okay.
You can say what you want because it's there. It's there, and then Jake Browning and those Bengals are going to put up a fight.
Look, here's the problem for the Denver Broncos. I appreciate your unwavering support of a team that's not going to win a Super Bowl, but the reality is this.
Whoa. My unwavering support of a team that's not going to win a Super Bowl?
That's right. You love the Denver Broncos, and you're going to die on that hill.
Is this your quarterback?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I only look forward, okay? Here's get him out of here, please, guys. Here's the deal. The Denver Broncos have to make up ground, right? And when you look at Kansas City's schedule, they're winning out. Right? So the Denver Broncos, by default, cannot catch them. And the Broncos might lose 2 of their last 4 games, if not 3. They can't catch Kansas City. It would be one of sports' greatest all-time collapses and disappointments if Kansas City doesn't win the AFC West.
Look, I'm not so sure that they won't fall apart. After losing in the manner of which they did last week, who's to say that they come back together and they say, we're going to make
By the way, nothing would please me more than winning the lottery, of course, but beyond that, to watch Kansas City cry themselves into oblivion after last week's embarrassing display of crying about the referees.
But let's be honest, we've never seen the Kansas City Chiefs this disgruntled. Whether it's Chris Jones yelling at his defensive line coach, whether it's Patrick Mahomes having a tantrum, whether it's Andy Reid pretty much saying, we would have won that game, but...
Well, guess what? Guess what? Life sucks when the refs don't hand you Super Bowls, doesn't it?
I'm just saying.
Oh,
if
life's
you're Sean,
tough.
My point is, if you're Sean Payton, there's a reason to feel like the Chiefs are on the down. So let's go get
Well, there's 2 different things. There's what Sean Payton says to the guys, and I get it, right? It's a mental game of, you guys can win the division.
Yeah.
Stay focused. Nobody wants a piece of us. We're the Denver Broncos. That kind of stuff, right? But that is also reality. And the reality is, schedule-wise, I can't imagine, as upset as Mahomes is, and Andy Reid is, and as bad as it's been for Kansas City, are they really now going to forget how to play football?
No.
Right. The Chargers back at quarterback, the Raiders back at quarterback, the Bengals back at quarterback, and the Patriots.
I'm just saying, don't sleep on them Bengals.
What are we even talking about?
Oh, come on. Jake Brown's not a good quarterback.
I get it. You're Sean Payton. You know, the Chiefs just lost, and you just won, and you're kind of trying to express some confidence in your team.
Yeah.
But in reality, they're not going to win this.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Oh, let's move on.
Another team in the division, the Chargers. Justin Herbert is going to have surgery on his index finger on his throwing hand, and he is out for the season. It's been a disappointing season for the Chargers. Craig, here's a question for you. So far in his career, has Justin Herbert been a disappointment?
No, not even a little bit. He could quarterback 30 other teams in the NFL right now, and all 30 would make that trade without even blinking.
I know, too.
He's one of the great young quarterbacks in the game. Unfortunately, he's going to have a new head coach. There's no doubt about that going into next year. Probably, I don't know if Kellen Moore survives it either, but new coaching staff. And then at some point, when you are the $200 million guaranteed money quarterback, you got to carry a team. You do the segment every Friday. Put the team on my back. Franchise quarterbacks have to put franchises on their backs. He gets a pass from everybody, even me. I'm not blaming Justin Herbert for their failures. You know why? Because I've watched this Chargers team blow more leads in the fourth quarter than, well, it was the late 80s. I needed the money. But look, the reality is that they don't lose games because Herbert doesn't play well. They lose games because their defense stinks.
Yeah, but the bottom line, if I'm Herbert, this is a blessing in disguise, right? I'm happy my fingers broke. They can't protect him. You know, at the bottom line, they can't do anything from up front, and his defense can't protect him as well. So if I'm Herbert, thank God you got me out of this godforsaken season, because I'm the only bright spot in this whole damn
but
franchise.
look, it's one thing for a great quarterback not to win a Super Bowl. We accept that. We understand how tough it is to get to one. You know, I always tease Greg, all the great teams Greg was on won Super Bowl, right? You think you would have won 5, I'm sure, in the height of your career. But there does come a point where great quarterbacks, if they're not winning Super Bowls, have to be in the conversation. They got to get to the playoffs.
Right.
Like, we talk about Dak Prescott and his failures in January. Herbert's never won a playoff game.
Right.
Yeah, when I look at Herbert, you name me a quarterback that has won a Super Bowl that's had to overcome not only the opponent that they're playing, but their defense, their head coach, all the things. Like, that's been Justin Herbert, as well as my guys at the skill position, perimeter, the receivers specifically, not always being present and available. Like, he has not gone a complete season with all his skill guys on the field, so that he could overcome what his defense isn't providing him.
I think it's a bad excuse. Every team has injuries.
And has he been a disappointment so far in his career? No. But he's not living up to expectations and reputation. And I feel like if you're Justin Herbert, this has been year after year after year, you don't have a winning record. At some point, we have to win because of you. We have to win because you do something.
Jacoby, they brought Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, who they sent to the Patriots. You talking about Darwin James, whoever the hell he wants to be any other Sunday. This defense has failed them. He could put up points. And Greg's right. When you don't have your rapport with your number 1 or 2 guys, it impacts the offense. So I'm all about Justin Herbert. I think we all agree it's time to reset the whole thing. Brandon Staley has been a failure. We've watched this show time after time.
Correct.
They can't move forward with the outfit they have right now.
Well, maybe the answer to moving forward is a coach that, once again, is allegedly on his way out. Who is that? Well, we just gave it away.
You just threw it out there.
What is that? Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.